Welcome back to the Open Task Podcast. I'm Calvin Smith with my main man, Joe Carlos. Joe, what's up?
Nothing much, man. Good to see you, as always.
As one of my patients this morning said, good to be seen and not viewed.
Very true.
I guess we're being viewed in a way, but yeah.
Good to be seen by each other. I guess it still is a viewing.
It still is a viewing.
There's a lot of thought there with that. Yeah.
Layers and levels and onion, all that good stuff.
All those things.
Fire rate.
All that kind of thing. Yes, all that stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, so last episode was fantastic, man. We talked about Django Unchained, the eighth film by Quentin Tarantino.
I presume you went and checked. At this point.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
My initial hunch was indeed correct.
Yeah, I figured that.
The eighth film. And we talked about a lot of things. One thing that we did not talk about, and we have some regrets about for this particular episode, we didn't talk about the numerous ways that racial epithets were used and the ways that they referred to people when they didn't want to use the N-word, which was used 110 times, by the way. I think my favorite of them was when they referred to Django as this bright boy.
Yeah, bright boy.
Did you have any particular favorites, Joe?
I like a Jimmy. I don't know quite what it means, but when they would call him a Jimmy, call the guy, is that your Jimmy? I like Jimmy. I did. That was my favorite.
That's good. That's
right,
good.
Boy.
Right, boy. Put your hands on that table. The palms. Put your palms down on them tables. Hey, at any rate, so we're back. We have another episode this evening. We're going to be talking about a great movie. Before we jump into it, it's fantasy football season. It's about to crank up. I'm actually leaving for Denver tomorrow for my very first draft of the season. Actually, I take that back. I had a draft last Friday. I almost don't count it. It has like 8 IDP players. So very, very, like you got almost a full team. It's a bit much.
Wow.
I came in third in that league last year out of 8. So I don't, make of that what you will. Joe, how many leagues are you in?
Just one.
Just one. Just one and the only one. The only one that
La Liga.
Yes, I'm so excited, man. I'm my inaugural year in La Liga.
We're very excited. We're very excited at La Liga headquarters as well. About you being here with us.
Man, well. I studied the ledger probably as hard as I studied some of the narratives for my students this week.
Oh wow! I need to go and do that because I need to go do that.
Try to see these tendencies and these, how much was spent on who and what, and you guys have an established dynamic there that's very
but this was the first year we had to release some of our guys. So this was the 2-year keeper was up this year, this past year. So Nick Chubb has been with me, and Tyreek, and they are very expensive. Yeah. They've been with me every step of the way for the last couple of years, and now they are gone. So
happy trails to Nick.
Yeah, I wish them both the best. I truly do, particularly Nick. Tyreek, he gets doubled, and it is what it is. But when he goes every now and then, he goes off like week 7 or week 13 or something like that. So I'm fairly certain I will not see. I will play against him, but not. I will not. He will not be on my team. I need to rename us too. I can't. I think we're the New York Elites last year. I think we were. But
I see. Of course.
Yes, it was something from the 2020 presidential. It was from like the RNC. Somebody called it the Manhattan Elites. That's what.
Okay.
These Manhattan Elites. And I was like, oh, I love that name. The Manhattan Elites. That sounds like an old team name from like a Sega great football or Sega great basketball. Right, when they didn't get the
I love it.
Yes,
I love it. My team. I went back to one of my default team names. A name that I love. Killers Defenestrators. The idea of throwing someone out of a window never gets old for me. When I actually got to see it on The Sopranos, when Christopher threw Lil Polly through a window, I said, "This is the."
There's a lot going on.
This is what happens when you mess with Killer's team.
It's funny. It's funny. I'm rewatching now, and I'm on season 2, and I forgot Little Polly wasn't there unless he comes later. But like Furio is coming over, like in this episode right now. Furio is on his way to the United States. So I don't remember when Little Polly started coming around, but I
think they used him as a plot device in season 4 when
Polly went away.
Polly's in jail. Yeah, okay. I think that was the first we really get to see of him. I think, because so season 3 was weird because they introduced a lot of people like Gene Pontecorvo and whatever. Yeah, and then
who would have been how is he just all of a sudden part of the crew?
Exactly.
But because they lost and Raymond died in season 3, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he didn't die until way in like the beginning of season 6. He died in members only.
I thought they died.
So he died on the treadmill. They died in the same episode. Gene and Raymond, and then they were talking.
Oh, that's right. I didn't realize it was that late. I didn't realize it was that late. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But to your point, they didn't use Gene. They hardly used Gene at all. Like he was in that fight with Lil Polly, as it were. At the
construction site.
Yeah. At the no show, no work job.
Hey. What are you, Ralph Bunch over here?
I love it. Anyway, man, we are.
Yeah, we can do that for a while.
This is what me and Joe do, man. We
can do that for a while.
So tonight we're going to cover a movie. I've been thinking about this movie for a while because Joe's name in one of our many group meets that we share together in our movies and pop culture group meet. His name is Bluto.
It is.
And it is fitting.
It is.
And comes from the film we're going to cover tonight, which I was just, I knew how much was derived from this film, but watching it again this week just made me like kind of circle back and want to, bring out my little Pickle Rick notebook and take some notes about just how much is derivative from this film. This is 1978. John Landis directed National Lampoon's Animal House. National Lampoon's Animal House. Again, released July 28th, 1978. This is pre-Killer Cow, pre my birth by about 10 months. But Joe, you were kicking. I don't know. Did your parents take you to see this?
No, I was 3. I was 3 years old. I was soon to be 4. But I do recall my father going to see it. My brother was about 5 months old, but I do recall when it was released. But I do recall my dad going to see it and being excited about it. I also recall just commercials and seeing the drawing, the animated the cartoon,
the National Lampoon cartoon.
The cartoon advertisement for it. Advertisement
Cassie
for
would
it.
Be proud.
I know he would. The cartoon advertisement for it, and I being intrigued, and I remember it being like in Mad Magazine and things of that nature. So, and I'd always read Mad, like when my mother was at the grocery store, or look at Mad. I'd more look at Mad than read Mad. My mother was at the grocery store, so but I had not, obviously at 3 and then later 4 years old, I did not see it when it came out. No.
So that begs the question, Joe. When did you first see the film?
I don't know when I first saw it. I do. I think I saw parts of it, but I honestly can't say. I don't think it was in adolescence. I don't think it was in high school. It was on TBS like every now and then, but I would catch it in a moment. I remember it's vividly. Remember TBS just had movies on like just all day, middle of the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And when it wasn't Sanford the Son and it wasn't
Andy Griffith or
Mayberry,
something.
we said it at the same time, but I vividly recall Shaft used to play all the time, but this would play every now and then.
Yeah.
And I don't really think I had the time to watch it by myself like I wanted to until college.
Okay.
But I do recall my dad watching it and watching Animal House, and the scene that he was watching was when Dean Wormer was kicking them out of school. And I just remember my dad doubling over at the 0.0 GPA, falling off the couch on the floor. And I was so young, so that's like the first clip I recall from the film. But I was so young that I didn't understand. I didn't know what that meant. But whatever it was, it cracked my dad up in a way. I mean, just he could not. He could not. He was on the floor rolling around laughing at the 0.0. So
of course, Dr. Carlos did.
Yes, of course he was. So later, when I was in college at Howard, me and my main man, my big brother Thomas Elliott Joyner Jr. I bought it on tape at like a Best Buy or Circuit City or something like that. And because I was in college, I was like, well,
Nobody Beats the Wiz.
Yeah, probably. I probably did get it. Nobody Beats the Wiz. Although I doubt they completely had Animal House at the Wonder Plaza. Nobody Beats the Wiz on Georgia Avenue in Northwest. But I know I got it someplace, and we watched it, and it might have even been Blockbuster. Let me not make a bought thing. Might have been Blockbuster, and we watched it at my apartment in the towers. I vividly recall drinking Michelob, watching it and reenacting scenes and the whole nine. Now that was definitely in 1995, and that was probably the first time I saw it all the way through. Was definitely in 1995 with Tom. We had shades on. He was Boone. Like he didn't want to be Otter. He was definitely Boone. And he watched the movie in shades. He had the cape on. Nice. I guess it was like the toga, but it was really like a cape on. And then when it was time to shout, we danced just like the whole thing. Nice. And so, yeah, I'm gonna just go on a limb and say my first time watching it was during my second year at Howard University in the spring of 1995.
That's a strong limb.
Yeah. At Howard Pleasant Towers West, 616.
Woo! Strong. I love it.
Thank you. How about you?
So I was one of those Superstation 17 TBS, watched it ad nauseum, and instantly drawn to. I just enjoy. I think the first time I saw it was when they were showing a marathon of movies on New Year's one year, and I caught it right when they were starting to do like initiation stuff. Yeah. So that's a good early. Caught it pretty early. I missed the initial initial rush.
You get 3/4 of the movie that way. You missed the first quarter, but really the first fifth. You get 80% of the movie that way.
Yeah. So but immediately enamored by it. But it was the TBS version, right? So you don't know what you don't know. I saw the TBS version a million times, and then finally got to college, and someone had the uncensored. I think at this point we were on DVDs or pretty close to DVDs.
Sure.
And so I don't know if they came out with a special edition right away, but there definitely was a DVD that had a lot of stuff, and then I really learned. Oh, okay, this is Animal House. This is what so many other movies have derived their plots, their like just about every main point from a lot of these movies comes directly from Animal House. And you don't really get that per se on the sanitized clean version because it's sanitized and clean. But it definitely a lot of beat by beat stuff from one of the I'm going to talk about a little later. One of the movies that just I almost look at it in a different light now. especially on like the fourth, fifth viewing this week of Animal House. It's like, man, can I even go back? I can't go back and watch it. Spoiler, but it's a little different to go back and watch at least one of the movies that I love. So at any rate, yeah, man. College was it, and it's funny that for both of us, it was college. I almost wish I had watched it like the unsanitized version before college. Although watching the clean version before college also helped quite a bit in terms of like some of the things. Their experience is a lot different from ours in the HBCU. Just full stop. Sure. But there are a ton of other similarities there in terms of like just kind of dynamics with certain other groups and socioeconomic things and whatever they were trying to say there. So at any rate, man, what little things stood out to you in this film, man? What were the little things that you enjoyed?
I thought the time period stuff was great. 62. And it actually was one of my buddies from high school, Hampton Cood, who went to Swanee University of the South. Hampton. We came back, and I guess we'd all seen it at that point, and we were talking about the movie. And he said, it's set in Tennessee. I'm like, no, it's not. He said, no, it's set in Tennessee. And we're like arguing, and he's like, all right, let's watch. And he pulls the tape out, and there's in the student council scene, the student court scene, Dean Wormer is in front of the Tennessee flag. It was never once mentioned. Never once mentioned in the entire, in the plot, in the narrative ever where they were. I knew it was famously shot in Eugene, Oregon, at the University of Oregon. However, which several films were actually shot at the University of Oregon. But it was really interesting or weird to me that I was like, why is this Tennessee? But there is like a scene where there's a rebel flag in
Hoover's room.
Thanks. In Hoover's room.
He's like, this is Hoover's room.
Yeah, this is Hoover's room, right? So there was an American flag, and American flag. There's a rebel flag in there. Not to say that there wouldn't be one up north or wouldn't be one in Oregon, but it was like kind of oddly placed because I thought the setting was not important other than it was at a college, right. But it was at a liberal arts college. And not which they didn't tell me that, but I kind of got the sense it was at a liberal arts college and not a state school. To me, that was a little thing that just to show, I don't know, the difference. Also, the differences in the fraternities. Obviously, every stereotype you possibly could have was there, but it's a little thing though that they carried all the way through, and I really enjoyed it, and I loved it. I love it every time for a lot of reasons. We know I love it for a lot of reasons, and there are things that still play out to this day about that, and so that's another little thing. Obviously Belushi at his height, because at the time he's, as we know, he's a TV actor, right? He's a TV comedian, a stand-up comedian, TV guy. This blew him into the next stratosphere of popularity, fame, and things of that nature. But at the time, Sunday through Thursday or Sunday through Wednesday or whatever day it was, he was there on set working with them. And then Thursday through Sunday, he's back in New York, right? Being the most famous comedian in the world at the time. So not ready for prime time. He showed he was ready for prime time. I love, even though he only has like 8 or 9 scenes. He doesn't have a lot of lines, but I love his physical comedy. That's a little thing for me. The last thing is the very, very slight, even though it's in Tennessee, the very slight infusion of blacks. Like it's very slight, very, 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 very slight. But the time period, they bring it up every now and then. Like when they went to Emily Dickinson College, obviously they brought it up.
Emily Dickinson College,
right? Which is just like making fun of stuff just for the sake of making fun of it. But yeah. So the race stuff was interesting too, because it was happening. It just wasn't part of their daily lives until they went somewhere and things were different. So those were the little things for me.
I want to.
Oh wait. Oh, sorry. One other thing. Their utter freedom.
Yeah.
Their utter freedom was, it's not a really a small, their utter freedom, and I'm going to bring this up later, their utter freedom.
Yeah.
But I really, that was a little thing for me that had I watched it fully in high school, I mean, I was already jacked up when I went to Howard. Like I already had not jacked up, but I already had like a morally casual attitude. That's a quote from the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, morally casual attitude.
Yeah, you got to hook Kroger up with
yeah. Lonnie. They kept calling him Lonnie. Yeah, morally casual attitude towards certain things in college.
Yeah.
But had I seen this, I was like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know? So, and I'm pretty sure several people went to college under that delusion and or worked like crazy to fight for this feeling and to chase this high. Yeah, but sorry, I just want to say that, and now on to you.
No, you're good, man. So so it's funny that you should mention about the setting of the college, because like, I looked into a little bit of it because it's a point of contention to your point. And you actually were on to, so they intended for it to be Pennsylvania, but they couldn't find a Pennsylvania state flag. And so yeah, like that's the untold truth about the setting of so it ended up being Tennessee by default.
Look at you pulling one way out. That's beautiful. Look at you.
Well, every now and again I pull one out.
Off the back foot. Off the back foot.
I'm like the Braves. 14-2 today against the Pirates. Hey, look. At any rate, man. So there's that part of it, but you were spot on for that, and the Confederate flag, of course, being prominent in the film.
It wouldn't have worked. I don't think it would have worked though. Like, I don't think the Confederate flag would have worked in Pennsylvania.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either.
It's a different movie. Even in that one scene, it's a different movie.
Yeah,
I think everything else in the movie would be fine.
Yeah.
In fact, Carmine makes sense.
Yeah. Carmine, was he in the mafia? Like, just
I mean, they were strong innuendo.
Yeah. He mentioned extortion again. I'll have your legs broken.
Yeah, he was connected guy from Delaware. From Delaware.
Right, exactly. Right. I don't recall anybody from Delaware. From Dover. Anyway, so you talk about freedom also, Joe. Like, I think where you're probably gonna go with this, I hope I'm not stepping on your thunder here, is
never
the freedom of consequences as well in this movie, man. Like,
I mean,
like, these jokers, not only did they like apparently finish college with these 0.0 GPAs, which we know is definitely not a thing that happens nowadays.
Right.
But they go on to I would say massive success in some instances. Otter becomes a gynecologist. Like, if I'm looking at it, I've been in admissions committee meetings where people go through somebody's freshman GPA and say, man, this guy had a 1.5, blah, 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 blah. It's done. It's a wrap. You know what I mean? But Otter becomes that.
They never mentioned Otter and Boone's GPA though either.
All that. But okay, so there's that. They also said
because they weren't there.
Hoover had the highest GPA in the frat, or I want to say, like, he was like 1.7.
Yes, admit term.
Fair enough. Fair. That's actually a very fair point, because I'm sure those guys made up some points. I want to talk about Donald Sutherland. Like, for me, it was Donald Sutherland's relationship with the students.
Yeah.
Cool guy. The
cool
guy
with the elbow, with the patches.
I have and I wear a jacket just like that for that exact reason.
Yeah.
I wear the elbow patches. You know what I mean? Like, it just was. He reminded me of a certain English professor that we had that it was much maligned. Much maligned. I feel so bad in my old age and how I treated. He of the infamous San Francisco breadbasket incident.
He was wrong. He was wrong. As grown men, we can look back at that and say he was wrong for that. He was going through a lot. He was going through a divorce at the time,
sure.
And his world was blown wide open. So either we should have just gone on our own, or they should have got us with somebody who was a bit more stable.
Yeah.
At the time. Yeah, I can. However, hey, that's life. You can do what you want to do. They're a bit more stable at the time. So Jennings was like that. I mean, Baker, you could have a drink with Baker. You could hang out. You could hang out with Baker.
Yeah, you could. You could.
I had a history teacher like that. I'm not gonna say his name, but I had a history teacher like that. For History 111, we went over there, man. And so when I saw that, I never really had that experience before. I had a cool speech teacher at Howard. That was my only A plus. I got A's, but I didn't get it. Only A plus was in speech. And the speech teacher was like 26, 27. All the girls loved him. Dude was super cool. And I think he would have hung out. I'm sure he did hang out with somebody.
Yeah, sure.
But it wasn't necessarily me. But nonetheless, it is what it is. But I had a professor at Morehouse my first semester that was definitely down to hang. And like we went to Hooters at the Hooters at the Underground, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's where I got my Ohio watch.
Yeah, we were Hooters at the Underground, like as an entire floor, us with him. So yeah, the Jennings character definitely later in my life resonated, but because I didn't know, that I didn't know of that. It was kind of like Walter Oakes. But
like when David Allen Greer was on, when he started on there that one time.
Yeah,
or,
that one time.
Or Roger Guinevere Smith when he was Professor Randolph. Yeah,
very much more like Professor Randolph. I mean, it's and there's professors like that at Morehouse now. Ilya Davis, David Wall Rice, sure. There Jeff Handy. There are professors like that at Morehouse now that would will hang with you and make sure you got your stuff together. I'm not saying they'll go to these extremes like Jennings, but definitely more personable and wanting to get to know their students, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. So the other thing that really stood out to me, like as a little thing, was how more in terms of how the film was made and the fact that this is a branch off of the Harvard Lampoon.
Yeah.
So the Harvard Lampoon, comedy magazine, essentially for Harvard since 1868 or something, like a long time. Okay. Right. And the writers, Doug Kinney, Chris. What is Chris's last name? Chris Miller and Harold Ramis.
Yep.
All they weren't the only one that was a Harvard guy was Doug Kinney. Right. But he didn't want to go. He didn't want to get a regular job. He wanted to continue to write for the Lampoon. And so these guys created national Lampoons based off of the Harvard Lampoon.
Brilliant.
And
Harvard.
It just reminded me so much of our days also on the Maroon Tiger and some of the shenanigans we would get into, some of the stories we would write. We would write some very serious stories, but we also every now and again would have some satire thrown in there, particularly our April Fool's edition. We would get into some hijinks through ill intention or not.
I love the hijinks, yes.
The 20 questions I can think of, like all those kind of things. I have no idea who wrote most of those 20 questions, but the hijinks that would ensue as a result of those kind of things. I feel like we could have done something along these lines, had we been so inclined, because I think college is where your creativity is. And I think they showed a lot of that with these guys, in terms of how they dealt with like the stress of, possibly being expelled. Okay, let's take a road trip. You know what I mean? Or like, let's have a toga party. Like, you know what I mean?
Just, not dealing with anything.
Exactly. Again, that freedom you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
So like, I think that they did a really, I can see, having had a college experience, I can see how that happens and why that happens. And, the bad decisions that college students make all throughout the film are definitely bad decisions that I made. And then lastly, the whole cafeteria situation for me was just like so reminiscent of, we didn't, obviously at Morehouse did not have a co-ed cafeteria per se.
Would have changed things. We had one at Howard. We had it at Howard. It was very different.
And I got to experience it at Xavier when I went to a summer program at Xavier and when I went to summer programs at Fisk. But even in a non-co-ed situation, the cafeteria is the cafeteria is the cafeteria. And it definitely like rang true. Like when Bluto's filling his plate up with stuff. You know what I mean? And
that's classic American cinema right there.
yeah, man, absolutely, absolutely.
Over what a wonderful world it would be. I mean,
yeah.
it's classic cinema.
So at any rate, those are some of the little things that stand out for me in the film. And let me tell you, so heroes of living in an apartment complex that is near a college. Speaking of a college, sure, someone is using their kitchen for the first time.
Oh yeah, it doesn't know how to.
Yeah, and so I'm suffering as a result. This has been ongoing all night. We actually made a decision to. We were like, well, I think we can go
Fight through it.
So
here we are.
If you hear alarms, you're not tripping. We're gonna keep going though. So at any rate, Joe, the characters, unsung heroes, man. Who are your unsung heroes in the movie, if any?
Daniel Simpson Day.
Yes.
He wasn't going to class.
No.
No classes recorded. Whereabouts unknown. Spirit animal. I just love D-Day. D-Day was based off of Danny Aykroyd.
Yes.
And so I'm pretty sure the cool and the motorcycle and the just I'm down for whatever. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was Bruce McGill got to go to Oregon, hang out with everybody. He had like 4 lines.
Good old Bruce McGill.
Yeah, he had 4 lines, and he was kind of the tough guy, but not the tough guy.
Yeah.
But the grease monkey that they had.
The grease monkey.
Because he could work on the car. He could work on cars.
Yeah.
But he could work on cars. It's obvious like his soulmate was John Blutarsky. Without question. But I think D-Day obviously had his contribution because this, you look at it with the organization, like, and you're taking members, like what can this person bring? His contribution was that he was great with cars and welding and stuff like that. So he could MacGyver stuff and come up with practical things to do with your hands that could help them out. And so he's the guy that gets the gun with the blanks. He's the one that helps him get the horse out of there. Yeah. He's later the one, obviously, that takes over Flounder's brother's Fred's car and does everything. And they orchestrate the big cake, eat me. I mean, it's all D-Day, man.
Yeah.
And so to me, he's not Boone. He's not Otter. He's not Bluto.
Yeah.
Or Storkman, which is Doug Kenny. He's not even Stork.
Yeah. Oh, Doug Kenny.
Yeah. Or Pinto, but or Flounder, but he's integral.
Yeah.
To the plot line. So he's my unsung hero.
Absolutely. That's a great call, man. D-Day is fantastic. And I love the fact that, again, Dan Aykroyd was the inspiration for it. Bruce McGill is like one of my favorite that guys. I mean, he is a vet guy. He like, I was watching Cliffhanger earlier this week, and he's there. You know what I mean? He's in one of my favorite movies that like I just watched randomly at a movie theater, and then like watched whenever it's on, Matchstick Men. Like he plays an integral role in that. He's just all over Michael Mann's movies. He's everywhere. He's prolific. Everywhere. And this is I mean, for all intents and purposes, his start was in this film. So and there were a lot of guys like that. So he's in Ali, like just everywhere. Club Paradise, Secret of My Success, like he's everywhere. But so for me, it's Boone.
I love Boone.
I'm a big Boone guy. I love my man Assemblyman Zellman, aka Peter Riegert.
The great Peter Riegert. Yeah.
The great Peter Riegert. And apparently that character was based off of Harold Ramis. And so, in his experiences with his because he pledged at WashU into a Jewish fraternity. And so just Boone was was the guy managing a relationship, but also down for the homies and I mean, like dealing with the the not quite wet blanket girlfriend, because she wasn't really a wet blanket girlfriend.
She wasn't a wet blanket. She just wanted it. It's senior year. It's senior year.
Yeah.
It's time to grow up, you know.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
She didn't want much, bro.
She did not want much.
She didn't want much, but
you know, the great Karen Allen is Katie.
Hey, God bless her.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
We love her.
Another movie I watched this week, Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
I was just about to say.
I don't know why I watched that movie. It is a horrible movie. It's not. It's not good.
It is, and it was such a big deal when it came out. Oh my gosh, I remember going to see it in Silver Spring, man, and like using the better part of a Saturday to do that, and then being like, what did I watch? The highlight being they drove by the Skull and Bones tomb at Yale. That was like the highlight of the whole movie for me. But that movie was just horrible. Yeah, like Steven, I was like, man.
Guess who watches it every time it's on? Me.
Okay, I've only seen it once, so maybe if I go back and see it a second time, maybe
don't
there's
do
something
that.
there.
Don't do that to yourself.
Oh, wow.
It's not good. It's not good. I would tell you what it is. It's Cate Blanchett for me. I have a Cate Blanchett thing. So even though we
used to call her Mama Africa. Because she was definitely the whitest white woman.
Yes.
Cate Blanchett.
Yes, of course.
Yes,
but yeah,
Mama
man.
Africa.
So Boom was my guy. I really enjoyed the shenanigans he got into in particular. You know, and he and Otter's friendship and the way that they, you know, bounced off of one another.
1-2 punch.
Strong. He and Tim Matheson really you know, played off of each other very well. He was the one that was so enthusiastic about seeing Otis Day in the Nights.
Otis!
At the Dexter Lake Club.
The Dexter Lake Club. Or the Destalay, as Otis says.
The Dexter Lake Club.
The Dexter Lake Club.
Give a real quick shout out for Nina and Shay. They would really
That's literally for Nina and Shay. When I said you, I looked in the camera. That was for Nina and Shay. That was the you. That was for Nina and Shay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
My man Kevin Bacon, man. This film is integral to the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon game. If you have ever played
the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon game,
if you've ever played the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon game, Animal House has to come into that equation because there's so many connections here. My man Chip Diller, the utter disgust he has when Flounder and Pinto into the conversation, and particularly like he's like, "Oh, there you are,"
and there you are.
All right, exactly.
Hey.
And to that end, that's very much a John Landis. John Landis nails that kind of dynamic of when the upper crust, the upper class has to deal with.
He loves that. That's Constance Fry. That's at the Heritage Club. That's the whole. I think you showing up here is an incredibly bad form.
Louis.
I still think I remember this club, which I think he was actually.
He still was a member.
I still remember this. He wouldn't have got that far in the room. I still remember this club. But yeah, that's Landis loves that. He loves making fun of that.
Yeah.
Obviously Reitman does in his own way too.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
So they
speaking of well, all is well.
Yes, all is well.
All is well. Chip Diller, man.
Chip Diller getting run over by the people.
Fantastic. I want to take a moment here and ask you a little bit of trivia, Joe. So who would you guess was the highest paid actor in the film?
Oh, it was Sutherland.
Okay.
What it?
Sutherland actually was not.
Okay.
He made $25,000, and he had an option. We'll talk about it in just a second.
Yeah, I thought he had like a Nicholson type deal, like option to do something later.
He messed up like Magic Johnson did.
Yeah, like Magic. Well, did Magic really mess up, or do we not know?
I mean, okay, well, fair. True. I'm harsh.
Yeah. No. I mean, I have no idea who was it.
Belushi.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. Belushi
And they probably did a lot to get him back and forth.
Yes.
They probably paid a lot of money for John Belushi.
Yes.
But it's not the same film without John Belushi. So it made $131 million. I mean, on a $3 million budget.
It was until Ghostbusters, it was the most profitable comedy in movie history.
Yeah, I can see that. Which of course Johnny was supposed to be in. would have been in.
Yeah.
Imagine that without Bill Murray.
Different movie altogether.
Yeah, that's a very
probably still a very
well. They have thrown him in. Well, no, he was still alive for Stripes. I guess he just didn't do it because he was doing other stuff.
Well, would he have been? He could have also done the Dan Aykroyd, the Ray Stantz part too.
He could have, but not. I don't.
I think he would have been a star.
Ray was he would have had to be a star. There wasn't not enough balls to go. There's a reason there were 3 of them and then 4.
Sure.
Three. Like Gyrobi, you know.
Yes. AEIOU and
sometimes Y.
Exactly. All right, but so why I bring that up? Donald Sutherland ended up making $25,000. He had the option to do $25,000, which was like the I forget what they call it for like the standard fare, like the rate, the working rate for an actor at that point, or he could have gotten 2% of the gross. And 2% of the gross would have ended up being 14 million. And yeah. But he said, I mean, the producers and everybody give him so much credit because they wouldn't have made the film without his star power, without his name. Like he, even though he had a bit role, he was only in it for a minute. Yeah. He was the reason.
Maybe like 4 scenes.
Yeah. But they couldn't have made the film without him. So I want to talk about, and then the horse actually, the horse made $40,000. The horse made $40,000. So there's that. The derivation from this film. So how many films do you like? What film do you think ripped this off the most, Joe?
The most?
Yeah, in your opinion.
I don't know. Neighbors.
Okay, I agree.
I mean, Old School is a little different.
Yeah,
but I think anything. Look. Rip off. I think all those things are an homage. I don't know if I don't know. And maybe this is my Joe's rose-colored glasses look, and I understand that you want to be killer coming from the top rope for somebody. Jimmy
Savage,
Superfly Snooker.
Yeah, man. Double axe handle.
Yeah, do it all. I don't know. I think that much like. I mean, we look at these things. This is how I look at things, right? So much like Annie Hall, greatly influenced all romantic comedies after it. Annie Hall was, for our uninitiated, Annie Hall was a 1977 film by Alan Stewart Coningsburg that
nice. Very
also known as Woody Allen.
Very good.
Sorry, Woody Allen, Diane Keaton. That won Best Picture. So let's let's look at that, right? So one Best Picture, great story, funny story, cool, boom, 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 real simple. Right. So every romantic comedy that thinks it's serious or really good,
it's heavily influenced.
You're heavily influenced. You're taking parts from the one that won it all, right?
Sure.
So I think if this is the highest grossing film of all time, what do? Oh, let's go make some more college movies with some guys that are kind of funny or kind of some similar dynamics.
Sure.
Let's do that. So I think we'll see it. We'll see these movies forever.
Yeah.
But I think probably Neighbors was the closest, in my opinion, because it had the duo, the two guys.
Otter
and Franco.
And Boone.
Otter and Boone. It had the two guys. Like so in my opinion, and I'm not saying the whole movie was trying to be was trying to rip off Animal House, but I do feel that given the fact that it was two guys, and there was clearly a leader and then like a lieutenant who also had respect. I think that was similar. Now, if you look at something like Old School, which I got a feeling you're going to come to, it was that was a little different, and that's a 3-headed monster there with Farrell, Vaughn, and like Vaughn in his prime, Vaughn,
absolute prime,
and Wilson. And Wilson's a straight man, right?
Yeah.
But and he doesn't have to be funny at all. But Farrell and Vaughn, oh my gosh, man, they are lightning in a. I don't even know, lighting in a bottle, like that scene in The Prestige when they had all the
hats and the cats.
Everything was lit up all out in the prairie.
Tesla,
the Tesla scene. that's the kind of lightning they were. So I think everything is influenced by that. But what are you talking about specifically? I'm curious.
So mine is Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh yeah.
Revenge of the Nerds is almost beat by beat. I mean, there's some things that are unique about Revenge of the Nerds, like the fact that they have to create their own house, everything like that. But like from the fact that they're rejected initially from one fraternity, and go to another fraternity or form a fraternity that is more accepting. The various characters that are contained within said fraternity, who are oddballs and yada yada. The fact that they are forced to basically have not quite a competition, but like to try to validate their fraternity, and the other fraternity is like trying to get them off campus. The panty raid, where we have a scene where Bluto is watching the girls have a pillow fight and everything like that.
Right.
There's where else? There's somewhere else in the film that is almost like exactly like
Booger is supposed to be Bluto, right?
Booger is supposed to be Bluto. Having the big gross guy, having black guys come and again lend some validation to their party.
It's also that camp ass racial tension thing, because it's a black fraternity. Yes. Which is a funny joke on its nose. Yeah. And even funnier when they come to check them out. But but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Great UN UN Washington or UN?
UN. But really, my main man Bernie Casey of SCAD, of Savannah College of Art and Design's most famous alum. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. You're good. So I mean, I just like, for me, Revenge of the Nerds, seen in a totally different light, and if you've seen Revenge of the Nerds and not seen Animal House, which I don't know why that would be the case, but
now that you say it, I didn't even think of it. Yes, you're right. You are absolutely correct. It is pretty much scene for scene, even the character for character.
Like at the end, the destruction of like the house and everything. I mean, it's just there's a lot of similarities there, but I still love Revenge of the Nerds. I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for especially the end of Revenge of the Nerds and everything like that. I really enjoy it. But
or even the sequel, Nerds in Paradise.
Nerds in Paradise is one that it's a very good film. Very good film.
Bradley Whitford in that.
Bradley Whitford being Bradley Whitford, doing Bradley Whitford things.
It's very interesting if you ever see it again. Now that we have these big screens and everything, you ever see it again? Look, if you ever see Nerds of the Nerds 2, Nerds in Paradise, look up on the behind you when they're at the Greek conference. Okay. You will notice the seals and the logos and the symbols that they have up there are NPHC logos.
Really?
And they just like flip the colors, but it's clearly the Kappa Alpha Psi logo, the Omega Psi Phi logo, the Alpha Alpha logo, Phi Beta Sigma. Literally, it's literally there in but different colors. Okay. I mean, just to show, no, we're not going to pay you. We're just going to use your things and flip it, and you'll never know, and you'll never care, and there's nothing you can do about it. So it's really interesting. And I noticed it once. I was like, why is that? What in the world? What is that? But yeah, Nerds of Paradise.
Wow.
Both of them are, HBO darlings in the summers.
Oh yeah,
back in
the day.
Absolutely. ALN and a little bit of B.
A little bit of B.
Yeah, adult situations.
Hey man,
language.
Adult situations so nebulous. So nebulous.
All night with Ron.
Rhonda Shear.
Yeah.
Don't get me started. So like you talked a little. We circle back to this category every now and again.
Sure.
And I don't want to be presumptuous just because you're named Bluto in the chat, but who would you be if you were in this film?
Well, I've been a lot of those characters. I've been a lot of these characters. I've been interested in joining fraternity in college. Mm-hmm. So I've been Flounder and Pinto. Mm-hmm. Larry Kroger. We need the dues.
We need the dues. I love
that. I love that line, by the way. I hope we're gonna go over lines because
absolutely.
Oh my
absolutely.
gosh.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I've been Flounder. I've been all these characters. I've been Flounder and Pinto. I've even though Pinto didn't really stick, so we'll say Flounder and Larry. I've you're at a party in a situation. What do you do, Larry? I've been Flounder. Just being nervous and being in a new environments and things of that nature. I've definitely been Boone. My senior year in college, when I was off trying to bring in a group of guys in a very special organization. Is very special to me. Then my girlfriend at the time was like, is this what you're gonna do for the rest of your life?
Maybe
get drunk with your friends every weekend. I said, no, when I'm graduated, I'm gonna do it every night. That part. I've been Eric Stratton.
Yeah.
Damn glad to meet you.
Damn glad to meet you.
It's probably where I'm a little more comfortable.
Yeah.
As Eric Stratton. And but I've been Bluto as well. 7 years of college down the drain. Might as well join the fucking Peace Corps.
7 years of college down
the drain.
Oh, great.
Might as well join the Peace Corps.
Yeah.
So I've lived every at least I haven't been D-Day. Okay. I haven't been D-Day. But of the Deltas, I've pretty much covered the and I was an administrator. So at an undergraduate school. So I've been Dean Wormer, trying to root out people acting a fool while in school. So I am Dean Wormer now. You are Dean Jack. You are Dean Wormer. I don't have any interaction really with students right now. So at MSM, so I don't have a Dean Wormer anything in me at all. Yeah. But I can only imagine. Yes, you are currently Dean Wormer. Literally Dean Wormer. So I really have I've related to all of them, associated with all of them in some way. But I'm probably most at home somewhere between Eric, Otter, Bluto, and Boone. Somewhere between Otter, Bluto, and Boone. Yeah.
Got you. So I'm a little bit of Boone, as I alluded to a little bit.
Sure.
A lot of Hoover. So advocating.
I didn't mention Hoover. Yeah.
Advocating for the unadvocatable, like
brother.
Trying to get some folks through, like some situations and like doing my damnedest to try to get folks to at least hear out an argument and having very little success and being very persistent about it. I appreciated Hoover for that. Hoover looked out for Flounder because Flounder was he was on his way out of his second rush when Hoover comes in. They're looking at his tie. Oh, 90% 90%
rayon.
90% radon. Hoover looked out for Flounder, remembered that his brother Fred had gone through in 59, you know what I mean? And it's like, gotta look out for this guy. Along with a great speech by Otter to get Flounder through at the at the vote. But those two, I guess, and I've been Pinto a little bit too. New guy on the scene, but kind of really quickly ingratiated with the crew, you know what I mean? Like his path was a lot easier than Flounder's in that he was a little bit more personable, and they kind of, especially Otter kind of gravitated and Boone gravitated to him. And
well, let's talk about that for a moment though. It's really interesting because the only reason they go there, Flounder was the one who was interested in fraternity life right. Period. They go to Omega House. There's no telling how many other houses they'd stop by that day, that night. They go to Omega House, and it's just not the right. They're with Jugless and Muhammad. There was great debate over whether or not that was Samuel L. Jackson, and I almost got in a fight with somebody once, telling me it was. I was like, "That's not Samuel L. Jackson." I'm like, shut up! Like, it's not Samuel L. Jackson. And then we had to like pause the credits, and they're like, "Oh, I guess it's not." Like, no, Samuel L. Jackson was not. Jugless did not play. Jugless did not play. Was not played by Samuel L. Jackson, but they're over there on the side, a whip and a blimp, from Babs.
We haven't talked about Babs and Mandy yet, by the way, but yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna double back about another movie that definitely bit off that in just a second. When okay. Please remind me of it.
Okay.
But we will definitely get to that too. But so they go to the next, so they go over to the house and they get the guys get his name right.
Right.
Once he walks in, he's kind of like, okay,
these are my guys.
These are my guys, right? When they take her hat, when the girl takes his freshman beanie, and he's like, oh, okay. He's like, I'll see you later. I'm here now.
Yeah.
It's like there's an instant feeling there. But they instantly, the Deltas, because they go to the rush, they go home, and then they vote that night, essentially. That's what it make it seem like. And then they come back, they go get them, and then they go drink with them the rest of the night. Like that was joining a white fraternity.
Yeah.
And then you're in. Right. So after a night of drinking, God bless. So but they were instantly like, you are our people, you are with us now. Yeah. And so it is what it is. But I think I'm with you on the Larry thing, but he might have been a little more personable, and he wasn't Flounder at all, who was always precocious, and all that, right? Comes to the toga party in a suit. with his girlfriend. With his girlfriend, who I was sure that was Uma Thurman. I just knew that Sissy, his girlfriend, his steady Sissy, my steady, that she was Uma Thurman. Uma Thurman. Next time you look at it, just trust me. Uma Thurman was probably like 4 years old when the movie was made, or 5, but she looks just like her.
Interesting.
Just a thought.
No, I'm gonna check it out the next time I watch it, man. Yeah. Let's circle back to Babs and Mandy. Yeah, man. I mean, what can you say?
I wish they'd shown us the scene where like Mandy and Otter were like really hanging out, because it doesn't. It's like something that just happened once. Maybe it seems like, or maybe once or twice. And so, for all the Lothario, well, obviously it wasn't that important Otter, because he's up in his room talking about they're going through the list, and they didn't even say Mandy.
No, they didn't say Mandy Pepperidge.
They didn't even mention Mandy Pepperidge, right? So, and really, that was the one that Bluto had his eye on the whole time, right?
Yes.
So,
Bluto.
Oh yeah, but Babs is hilarious.
Yeah.
The whole time, and I think that was definitely based on somebody that they come up with, grown up with or gone to college with. But she was conniving. You could tell from the beginning. I think he's just dreaming. The whole time.
Yeah.
They were wonderful comic foils.
Yeah.
And like most of the women in this film, just unfortunately they were filler. As well as just like Karen Allen's character.
Yeah.
As well, and they were just kind of there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that is the case for all the women in Chlorette de Pasto, Marion Wormer. They're just things for things for the main characters to do, literally.
Literally.
What was our girl's name from Emily Dickens College that died? Kill Explosion.
I just had it on the tip of my tongue too. I had all these notes at my
Fawn
Leibowitz.
Fawn Leibowitz, not Fawn Knudsen, no. Fawn Leibowitz.
Fawn Leibowitz. Yeah.
And her roommate and the girls they went out with. Ew.
They're like, what were you doing in that car with him? What were you doing with him? Just talk civil rights or women's lib, whatever it was, civil rights, and you're in like
Flynn.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Do you mind if we dance with your dates?
The girls were like, nope, not at all.
So Joe,
since we're there,
did you know? I'm sure you did. That scene was mired in controversy.
Yeah.
You know who they ran it by to get approval?
The wrong person.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Well, let me not say the wrong person, but he doesn't speak for all Black people.
No, he doesn't.
For so many reasons. It was a funny scene. It is a funny scene. It's still cringeworthy, however, today. But they used race as a joke.
Yeah. So we're talking about Richard Pryor, by the way, guys.
Yes, Richard Pryor. I'm sorry. So the there was a big time exec, like you were alluding to, a Universal that was irate about the scene, hated the scene, thought it was too racist for, and it didn't want Universal to have anything to do with that scene. And then Richard Pryor wrote him and said, "Hey, it's funny. It's completely fun. It's hilarious."
He was like, "The blacks are gonna tear their chairs out of the theaters." And
yeah, he's like, "No, this is hilarious. We're fine. We're fine." So, and it is a funny scene. It's hilarious. I mean, but it is overtly racist.
Yeah, well, it's better than how John Hughes handles it, for sure.
Yeah, but John Hughes was a National Lampoon's writer. He was and probably a racist or racialist. When they ask, "What are you studying in school?" and she says primitive cultures, and then the next shot is of a black musician. That's racist. The abject fear of being the only white people in the place. When in the world's history have 7 white people walked into any place and 30 black people then gone to kill them? When has that ever happened? Right. So and definitely not in Tennessee. Right. Okay.
Right. So if anything, the 30 black people have something to fear from the 7 white folks.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of but again, they're 20, 21, 19 years old, right? Essentially. But that whole thing, that the premise of that whole scene is truly jacked up. As funny as it is, it's just jacked up, right? So when Boone tries to talk to the brother and he pulls a knife out, stereotype, black man and a knife, right? Gotta have the knife, right? And then the same guy goes and sits down next to Flounder. Says, "What school do you go to?" "I don't know. There's 5 HBCUs in Tennessee." Yeah, could have gone to one of those.
Could have been a Fisk guy. Could
have been, or could have gone to Faber. You know what I'm saying? So that's the other thing. So it's really that scene. I mean, this film's a masterpiece, but that scene is the one part that's just like, come on. The redeeming part of it to me is when Otis does not recognize Boone at all, having just been there at the house, and he's on stage with him, dancing with him in the circle. And we looking like, man, I don't know who you are. I play all these fraternities. We play the whole 9, right? So, but that, to me, that's the redeeming part of that scene. Personally, and then one of the weirdest things was like, why did he keep running into all those cars later? Because then, of course, he had to be upset. Then it gave them a reason to jack up the car, and make it to Deathmobile later on. But having said all that, I think the film would have been fine and still a masterpiece without that racist ass scene.
Yeah, I agree.
Personally,
I agree.
If Richard Pryor hadn't saved the scene,
we would have been okay. Let's talk about the lines, Joe, because this is chock full of lines. What are your favorite lines?
I mean, I've said a few of them. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
Germans?
The Germans? Forget it, he's rolling.
He's rolling.
Yeah. 7 years of college down the drain.
Yeah.
Might as well join the fucking Peace Corps. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Also, drunk, fat, and stupid are no way to go through life.
Yes. Dean Wormer had some lines.
So that same buddy, Hampton Coon, his dad, I remember his dad told him that after like his first year at Swanee, he's like, drunk, fat, and stupid is no way to go through life. like Dean Wormer said, drunk, fat, and stupid is no way to go through life. Do not do this, son. We've worked too hard. And I've mentioned most of the other ones, but people say toga. I don't not that really to me. Yeah. But I think, and I mentioned the other line, when I graduate, I'm gonna get drunk every night. I'm like, I'm not doing this every weekend. We get drunk every night. What about you?
So we need the dues. Obviously, I love that.
We need the dues.
When Dean Wormer's talking about, with Marmalade trying to to get Delta. Delta's
Yeah.
already on probation. He's like, well, as of this moment, they're on double secret probation.
He's like, double secret probation, sir? It's a little known codicil.
It's fantastic, man. Carmine the Mayor, you know, if you mention extortion again, I'll have your legs broken. Just the love that. I love Bluto, you know, when he's being gross, you know, obviously, and you know, he's like, see if you can guess what I am now. This is great. Yes, man.
Get it?
Yes. Fantastic. There's so many. I mean, you know, do you mind if we dance your dates in that scene? You know,
I love it. I love that line though. That line was hilarious.
Yep.
How massive the guy's hand is and how small her little hand is in that scene.
And then finally, put a sock in it, boy, or else you'll be out of here like shit through a goose.
Hey,
like,
that's a line, brother.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. What about scenes? Are there any scenes that stand out to you in this film that you really enjoy more than others?
So it's two or three things. There's an unmistakable sound.
Okay.
When you're in a college residence hall, a dormitory, and you're not supposed to be consuming alcohol. And there's a sound that only a bottle of beer makes. There's a sound that only a can of beer makes. Unlike, it's not going to make the same sound as a can of Coca-Cola because you're not going to move rapidly with a can of Coca. You don't care. You keep it in your hand. You don't even move it around, right? Because it's Coca-Cola or Sprite. Right. But when you're trying to put something away and trying to hide it, there's a specific sound that it's made. And so when Dean Wormer walks into the Delta Tau Chi house, the sound of the glass and the aluminum and the cans like clinking a little bit because he's there on, oh, let's put it away. Like, so he's not gonna see it. Is hilarious to me. That is one of the funniest scenes to me in the whole thing because I've been there when like my RD, my freshman year at Morehouse, comes in and looks around. Mr. Woodbury looks around. I've got like 29 bottles of Bud on the top of my bookcase, like in rows, and the ones behind are like they're full of Budweiser. Okay, the ones at the front are empty, but behind that they're full of Budweiser. Right, and so, that sound, either you can act a fool or you can be cool, and they were somewhere between the two, but they were so obviously loud. Another, you know. I really hate the parade scene. I thought it was gratuitous and stupid, in my opinion. Yeah. And just really like a fantasy. Like this would never happen. I mean, you guys get away with a lot of things, but this just wouldn't happen.
Yeah. No consequences.
Literally none. But it did give us bless you. It did give us a little thing of like, hey, what? Yeah. But another great scene. You know, obviously the food fight's great. But you know, Belushi going through the lunch line, just grabbing the food. It's the utter joy of college living.
Yeah.
When there's all that food there.
Yeah. For
a minimal price.
Right.
And you can eat as much of it as you possibly want. And that to me, I don't know. It's something about it. I mean, in high school, you got to pay for everything, right?
Right.
And in college, you pay $4 or $5. You can eat as much as you want and sitting there as long as you want.
Yeah.
As well. Back then it was probably 25 cents.
Miss Love, you show Miss Love your car.
Yeah, exactly. So to me, those and we talked about so many other scenes. Yeah. But you know, to me, those scenes really stand out. And to me, those scenes stand out, you know, the strongest for me personally.
Yeah. I like the scene with the horse in the office. I like the lead up to it. The horse is nervous and Flounder's nervous and
Belushi does the three bit. Three
times like Peter.
Yeah. Just like Peter.
Just
look
like
at
Peter.
him go. Look at him go. Yes.
I love it. I love I love the toga party. And the Delta Rush, not necessarily the Omega Rush, The Omega Rush was Chip Diller, too much Chip Diller, too much of that vibe. But the Delta Rush felt right, and really kind of again set that tone for those guys to join. So I really enjoyed that scene quite a bit. The whole movie is just fantastic. It's there's a reason why it's enduring, why it lasts, why it holds up today.
Sure.
Even, so great film. I wanted to talk about at the toga party, the guy playing the
I left it out there for you, man. I left that one there for you, bro.
The song about the cherry. And Bluto takes the guitar, man, and just smashes it. Like, just fantastic, man. Just
so what other films do you think were got direct inspiration from this film other than Revenge of the Nerds?
So Porky's, a lot of Porky's, a lot of Caddyshack. Some of the Caddyshack stuff is definitely here. There's some Trading Places stuff here.
Well, Landis.
Yeah, fair enough. There is so not quite movie, but TV show Family Guy pulls a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah,
from this. Particularly, there's a scene where Herbert is looking through a window and has that same look at the camera that Bluto gives when Mandy's disrobing. Exactly, like that was also pretty. I mean, straight from the film. Trying to think of what else. I don't. What ones come to mind for you?
I mean, I think they all do. I think it's school. I think it's School Days.
Oh yeah.
I think it's the fellas against the Gamma Phi Gammas as the light skinned curly headed quote unquote elites going up against the other guys, the scrappers, right? Yeah. I mean, I think as films go about college life, this is obviously in the pantheon of the all-time greats, and I think it's this movie. I do, even though I know it's not as a popular pick, but I do think The Social Network is up there. Personally,
I agree.
I know you're a big Fincher guy, so give a
little
red meat. Yeah. But I do think it talks about college life in a specific time. Carnal Knowledge has a really big college section in it. It's not a film just about college life, but it has some college, a lot to do with what happened to these guys when they were in college, and then of course personally School Days, but then graduate school too, The Paper Chase, to look at the first year of law school at Harvard. I still think that I think that we see these themes over and over and over again, and we will continue to see these themes repeatedly for the rest of our lives as long as they're making movies. And I think Old School definitely had a part of it. Going up against the dean, right? You're the wild guys going up against cheese. Aren't you the guy who's doing it? Well, I got out. Good for you. All right. From the guy who's probably not going to make it anyway. When he says that. we will give back nothing. This I can tell you. This I can guarantee. No, we will have no community service whatsoever. This I can guarantee you.
Good old Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, Vaughn. But I think a lot of them did, were have been and will continue to be inspired by it, including the film Neighbors, like I mentioned. But also I forgot to mention there was a television show that came out after this called Delta House, right? So now I remember that, like I remember the Paper Chase TV show as well. So there was so Paper Chase TV show was on PBS, and I used to watch that. But Delta House obviously, they got some of the guys but didn't get all the guys, right? So it was a twisted, a horrible twisted joke of a television show that just was not the original. It had nothing to do with the original. I mean, let's be honest here. Ferris Bueller's Day Off comes out. They try to make a Ferris Bueller movie, right? Coming to America comes out. Ferris Bueller TV show. Coming to America comes out. There's a Coming to America TV show. This has happened so many times. and it almost never works. The only one that went kind of far was the Paper Chase, but partly because it was on PBS. I'm almost certain. And it was about law school, and it was intelligent and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And they had the principal characters. However, and at some point it's going to come to an end. You can bring new people in, all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But these things just don't work. Particularly
except for the Cure for Insomnia, MASH. That one also worked.
Okay.
Fair enough.
No, that's the one that did work.
Yeah.
That's the one that did work.
That's the one that did work. That's the one that did work.
I remember watching as a kid, like, what? They're always there. Like, what's going on? And of course, they weren't doing the fighting. That's why they were always fine.
Yeah.
I'm sure Alan Alda's tired of green at this point in his life. When you said MASH, I just think of Stewie singing.
Yeah, Suicide is Painless. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. And here Brian said, oh God. Oh God. No, but yeah, I just.
But it never works. Uncle Buck, another one that didn't work.
No, so they had like Zero Mostel's son, and Uncle Buck. I mean, these things that they did Uncle Buck twice. I think they did one at the time, and then they did another one later.
Yeah, neither one worked.
No, it just no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So it rarely, if ever, works. Rarely, if ever works. Oh, let's make a TV show. Let's spread it out. Sometimes it works. Other times it does not.
Yeah.
Now, going from one to the other, that could work.
Yeah.
That could work. X-Files.
Yeah.
Entourage is right.
Sex and the City.
Sex and the City. Yeah. The first one. I didn't. The second one was whatever. But the first one, it was a New York story, which it needed to be.
Yeah.
It needed to be.
Yeah.
Yes. Which that was a big deal for too. Ooh, Lord, Lord have mercy. That movie was a very important movie. Yes.
I mean, so I know some people are going to come at us. So I'll say, give some counterexamples. Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV show.
Sure.
Worked.
Great. It definitely worked.
Westworld, Friday Night Lights.
Okay. Well, let me look at Friday Night Lights. There's a lot of, what Friday Night Lights was kind of a mix of all the Friday Night Light themed movies that came from the book. So I think you have some Varsity Blues in there.
Yeah, that's the one I was trying to think of. Varsity Blues. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Varsity. So the TV show is kind of like Varsity Blues and Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
And Friday Night Lights to film together, and then you get the TV show. In my opinion.
I got one more.
I'm listening.
I got one more. Fargo.
Okay, that's a modern one. Yeah, I mean nowadays, but again, it wasn't instant.
It's not the movie. It's truly not movie characters.
But that's taking the premise, right, and spinning something around, spinning a narrative around it. Sure. But you're right about that. So, but I think Buffy the Vampire Slayer was instant. I believe it came out in movies then they had a TV show. Yeah. That was also timing, and casting.
Yeah, absolutely, and writing.
Right. And writing, right, exactly. Yeah. Right. All three, those big three right there, right? So when you look at those, if those two are good, if those three are good, you're golden, Pony Boy. Yeah.
Nice.
I know, yeah.
You got it. It's all good. What else is there, Joe? What else do we need to cover about the movie?
Love the music.
Yeah, Shyamalan.
Shyamalan Ding Dong. I told you my feelings on the parade.
Yeah.
But I still like the floats.
Yeah.
And if you noticed when all hell really the black hand and the white hand are coming together. Yeah. They're coming apart. Excuse me, coming apart.
Yeah.
In that moment, I don't know what they're saying by that, but they did. And then one of them goes into, and maybe the black hand when they broke the
no, the white hand went in and broke the dealership.
Good. Because if that weren't the case, I'd have some strongly worded stuff. I think
the black hand saved some lives by scooping up Niedermeyer.
Oh, that's right. Which was even funnier.
Yeah.
Niedermeyer in a black hand. Yeah. Killed in Vietnam by his own
Frank. Platoon. Yeah, shout out to Platoon.
Shout out to Platoon. Most
spoiler alert. Anybody haven't seen this?
Sorry for you. Yes, indeed.
Oh man.
No, I'm good. I'm good though, man. We did it to death. I love Animal House. I had the poster. the college poster. Oh gosh, how could we forget this scene? They took the bar,
The whole
fucking bar, man.
It is, yeah.
Throws him the
man.
jack. He throws it back.
I needed that.
Clearly not Jack Daniels. Too frothy. Clearly the iced tea that it is.
Yeah. His wife was on set making sure he wasn't imbibing. So
yeah. Oh yeah. I think she was dancing with it. She's dancing with him at the
toga party.
The toga party, yeah. Yeah, I put it in one of the covers that I sent you.
Nice. Yeah. A lot of little sneaky cameos in the film. A lot of people. Harold Ramis is in there somewhere allegedly.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
I didn't catch him. He's I think he is one of the cafeteria workers, maybe.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
He's somewhere in there. He's somewhere in there, and John Landis is apparently somewhere in there as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man, great movie, great film. Definitely set the tone for the next 40 some odd years. So.
Easily.
So yeah, man. Well, it's fantasy football season, like I said, is upon us. We're about to embark on some things, so we might not be around for a little bit, because we got some things to take care of in that regard. But we'll be back shortly. We still got some films to talk about. We still got some things to do. Hopefully, my fire alarm won't be going off. We
fought through it, brother. I'm
gonna have to listen to this one and make sure it's. I'm probably still gonna run with it, but guys, spoiler alert: my fire alarm goes off a lot in this episode, so I'll make sure.
Well, if they got this far, they know that. They got this far.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. Well,
you should write that in the intro, though.
I'm definitely gonna write that
in the write up. Yeah.
I'm definitely going to write that in the write up and on Facebook and on Instagram. By the way, guys, we're on Instagram. The Open Test Podcast. We're there.
It is. Sir.
It is there. We are there. We're on Apple. We're on Anchor. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. Wherever you get your social media, wherever you consume it. We're not on TikTok yet, as yet. I can't promise you I will ever be on TikTok. But
I can dig it.
She can dig it. We can dig it.
I can dig it. She can dig it. We can dig it. Yeah. So good.
We always circle back.
Yeah. Now it's asking me. And now my laptop's saying playing music. Well, I'm not playing music.
I'm not playing music.
I'm not playing music. No.
But that is a great compliment. It recognizes that you.
It's just new Windows. Yeah. Everything is streamlined. Yes.
Too smart. At any rate, guys, we've been the Open Task Podcast. We appreciate you listening, subscribing, liking, commenting.
That we do.
All those things. Washing the clothes and listening at 1.5 speed. Y'all haven't had to listen at 1.5 speed here lately. We've been kind of taught with it, but might have to listen to this one on 1.5 speed.
And we for sure with it.
Yes, we for sure with it. We appreciate you guys. Until the next time, we are out. Peace.